Well, details of the state's investigation in the Senzo Meyiwa case are emerging at the High Court in Pretoria. Sergeant Vusumuzi Mogane, one of the lead investigators, is expected to testify in the trial within a trial. The court is looking into the admissibility of the alleged confessions by two of the accused, and our reporter eNCA's Manqoba Mchunu is following the case for us and joins me once again to give us context but also expectations from today's proceedings. Manqoba, a very warm good morning to you, colleague. Let's take a look back at perhaps what has been said so far in court, and as far as the admissibility is concerned of the two accused, when they say, of course, that they were either coerced or tortured to make those confessions, but also it seems like investigators and some of the police involved allegedly saying that that never happened.
Well, indeed, Dumelo. In fact, what the police are saying is that both accused number 1 and 2 had made those confessions freely and voluntarily without any coercion. And this is very important for this trial within a trial, because this is exactly what it's looking at, whether those confessions were made before the police and a magistrate by the accused on their own will, and that they'd actually wanted to make these particular confessions. If at all the court finds that there was some sort of pressure or coercion that was involved in the extraction of these confessions, of course the court will then have no other way but to rule that these confessions are inadmissible before court, which means that they then would not be likely used in the main trial if at all the court does reach that particular conclusion. But of course we've heard from the accused, they say that they were assaulted, they were tortured and even electrocuted into making these particular confessions. Last week we heard from Sergeant Vusumuzi Mogane, who was one of the investigators in the Senzo Meyiwa murder case, detailing how he had arrested accused number 2, This was in June of 2020. He also revealed that he had known Bongani Ntanzi's lawyer prior to him making that second confession. You recall to me that Bongani Ntanzi had made 2 of those confessions. The first one was on the 19th of June. This was 3 days after his arrest. That one was made before a police officer at the Baroka police station. The second one was made before Magistrate Vivian Grenier, and this was done on the 24th of June. So he says that during that time when he had made this confession, and this is evidence that we've heard in court, that there was a lawyer who was representing Ntanzi, who was present when that particular confession was made. Ntanzi had signed that particular confession, he had been read his rights, he understood his rights, and in fact he had wanted to give that particular confession according to what we've heard in court. But he seems to say that he does not know Mr. Mjiaka, Dominic Mjiaka, who is said to be his legal representative, and he says that in fact he was not represented at that particular time, and he insists, of course, that that particular confession was made under duress, under coercion, and that he had been threatened to make this particular confession. So we heard from Vusumuzi Mogane saying that in fact he knew Bongani Ntanzi's lawyer even before that confession was made back in Pukeng, where accused number 2 had appeared in court. But perhaps let's take a listen, Dumelo, to what came out of that cross-examination, or rather that evidence in chief during Mogane's testimony last week.
You also testified yesterday that when you left Ms. Grenier's office at the Boksburg Magistrate Court on the 24th of June 2020, Advocate Njiako remained in the office of Ms. Grenier. How did you establish the name of Advocate Njiako?
I knew him from Pukeng because right from there he had been representing the accused. The SAP 14A as R5686208, and he was taken out without an injury.
Now, Sergeant Mogane, do you remember as to why the accused number 1 was booked out?
When they asked him questions about this case,
yes, were you present?
I wasn't there.
You were involved in the booking out and booking in of accused number 1 and 2. How was your relationship with them?
No, we had a good relationship. We did not fight, and we also were talking to each other, and they were relaxed. At one time, the accused number 2 once even intimated that he is a very great Zulu dancer who is capable of putting his foot under his armpit.
Well, Manqoba, before I let you go, what time then is court expected to commence today?
Well, Dumelo expecting proceedings to begin at 10 o'clock this morning. And what we're expecting in court today is the cross-examination of Sergeant Vusumuzi Mogane. Last week, the defense had asked for more time to be able to consult their clients. And this is after some of the evidence that he had given to court. So they'd asked for that time on Friday to be able then to then consult with their clients to go over some of the claims that were made by Mogane during his evidence in chief. So we're expecting that cross-examination to start today with the lawyer for accused number 1 and 2. Thulani Mngomezulu expected to be the first to pose those questions to Mogane. Of course, accused 1 and 2 have a lot at stake when it comes to this trial within a trial. There are 2 of the accused that have made or are said to have made those particular confessions. And of course, their lawyers will have a difficult time trying to show that these confessions, in fact, were made under duress. So we're expecting them to grill Vusumuzi Mogane about what he says happened when those particular confessions were made. Court expected, of course, to start at 10 this morning.
Thank you so much.